Hey guys, welcome to our channel. So, um, before I get into this, I want to address a question that came up. How do we get a baseline for our calculations? Good question. Well, for the most part, we stick to stuff that we know for a fact. Like, there's no way, even with in Pinball Wizard, the one we're decoding right now, by the way, I had actually provided two covers that sang it the way I remember it, and I owned the Who's version, not Rod Stewart's version or the other guy's version. I just knew that for sure that Rod Stewart did a version the way I remembered the Who doing it. Um, but I'm not 100% certain you can be 100% or get 100% proof when something is the way it is now and it changed. So generally speaking, we stick to stuff that we know very well, and stuff that we know is wrong and we know what it should have been. In other cases, Phoenix has thrown a couple at us and a couple other viewers that they knew how it should go. And a couple of them I don't think I was as familiar with. We went off of what Phoenix's recollection was on, I think, Van Halen or something. And I sort of remembered it, but not as well as him. So, because I wasn't a big Van Halen fan. So, yeah, most of these were baselining it off of what we know. I mean, most of these I own. Most of these songs that we're doing, I owned in a collection and listened to over and over. Not even growing up as an adult, too. Some of them growing up, some of them both growing up and as an adult, depending. But, yeah, we stick to stuff we know. Anything I check is going to be a song that I know the words. Me or my fiance check are going to be songs that we know the words, albums that we own or used to own, or songs that we listen to a lot that we would know the words. And on top of that, we do dig residue. But what's residue besides people that remember it like you? So, basically, we're trusting our own memories for these baselines for a lot of them. So, with that out of the way, I wanted to get it. We got the Who Pinball Wizard playing change to plays. He plays change to plays, and he ain't changed to ain't. And if you cross off PLAY and PLAY, you're left with INGS, and we brought INGS down, and he fell off twice. Nothing to cross off, so we simply brought he down twice. All right. So you start with and then we took those numbers and letters and converted them to numbers, guys, off of a numerology chart that you can find online. And the numbers ended up being 95718585, and I saw two sets of 4. 95718585. All right, so we ran 9571 as random by itself, and we ended up with Homolo Gene 9571. And that was the most interesting thing to me. It never came up in the genetics search, but here it is in the random hits. And there's a whole bunch of stuff about this. These random hits, a lot of them didn't seem all that interesting to me as far as something you might calculate, but that did. And when you move on from that and you get 8585, you end up with Orient Corporation. Now, we had that before in this search, by the way. We had Orient Core in technology search for the numbers. We had Orient Core in finance or the stock market within the numbers. So that's the third time Orient Core has come up that I can see and tell. So I found that to be interesting. Beyond that, you got SID 8585 PubChem So you got a chemical 8585 Tokyo stock quote. That's Orient Core. So you got a few things going on with 8585. But by the time you get to random hits, you've already pretty much squeezed most of the information out of it, right? But not all. Because if you move on, that gets you through going forwards. And then if you come back, 5858, you wind up with gene ID 5858 and PZP alpha 2 macroglobulin like Homo sapiens human. And this is a protein coding gene. And we got those before, like a lot. And so then if you go 1759 coming back, you end up with California Code Insurance Code 1759. And you also end up with a 1759 calendar for whatever reason. You got a lot of dates that deal with Canada. 1759, the year Britain became master of the world. Fine fissured high NCR and 1759 Armstrong Sealing Solution. So this is all on page 3, which was where I found the California code, which was the highlight to me because we've got codes before. And seems to me there was another code, a U.S. code, somewhere. I don't remember what number that may have been exactly. Ah, yeah, HR 5858 5858. 115th Congress 2017 to 2018, primary care patient. So actually I think we've had that come up before as well. So, and that gets you through random hits. That's random for you. It went through. You got a protein coding gene. You got Orient Corporation again. Got a couple of genes actually, and an insurance code and U.S. code. So yeah, that takes you through forwards and backwards. And the next thing we will hit will be running these numbers against our potential quantum computer or quantum network suspects. And we'll see how those run, and we'll see if we can name a quantum computer suspect or a quantum network user, potential quantum network user, I guess. And then we will hit binary code, our binary code, then regular binary code, and run those through the categories, and then we'll go on. So that's going to be it. And by the way, for those of you still watching, and those of you who saw the Tina Turner thing, that looked really weird to me. She looked really weird to me. And earlier, I checked her voice, and to me, her voice was subtly different. Subtle, but definitely different. It about made me jump off my seat. So, a few times in the song I was listening to. So I want to see if my fiance has the same reaction or if she remembers that that's the voice she's always had, because my fiance is really the expert on that. To me, it's different. To me, there's something weird about it, about enough to make you jump out of your seat. But who knows? And that to me seems more like a shift than a quantum computer or a quantum network user. Like even if and the lyrics seemed a little different too, but I'll have to ask my fiance on that as well. But even if they are, I'm really thinking that whole thing is a shift. If that's different, I think that's a shift. That might be one of those shifts. Instead of a quantum network user leaving a code, that might be an actual reality shift um, on that. Even though some people remember that she always looked sort of that way, but not necessarily exactly that way. That still seems more like a shift to me than necessarily a quantum network user and a code. But I could be wrong on that. I've been wrong before. So that's going to be it for this one. We'll see what we can do. to get through Pinball Wizard in the next day or two. We'll see what we can do to get our electromagnetic hypersensitivity video out within the next day or two, hopefully. That's pretty important. And we got some new stuff on that everybody should know about if they don't already, and they probably do. That's probably not any news. But the interesting thing is we found some of this in our codes. So we feel like we need to cover it by itself. So, and especially with what we've witnessed and what we've went through ourselves in proximity of this particular corner, then that's all the more reason we feel like we need to do a video on it. So, that's going to be it for now. Thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down. Thanks for all your comments, leads, feedback, and subscriptions. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. And for now, you guys have a great rest of your day.